Hi everybody, I'm Freyleyce and welcome back to another one of my videos. So today we're in a little bit of a different spot. You know, I'm relatively new to filming like this, so I wanted to switch it up a little, and I kind of actually like this one more, so we'll see how it goes, but I might just stick with this background. I did have to move my shelves down a little bit to actually show you guys the kind of books that I have, which isn't much, but I have gotten a few new ones since my last book haul, and I might have a new haul coming soon. We will see. But today's video is going to be all about dark romances, because in the reading world, that is where I dwell. I don't love contemporary. It just is not as interesting to me without the blood, the gore, and the murder. But I really like dark romance because it really gives you all the heightened emotions of what the characters are going through. Dark romance is just my thing. So today I'm gonna be giving you guys the classics mainly, in my opinion. Obviously these are my classics. I'm gonna aim to give you guys a little bit lighter in the beginning, like lighter but still dark romance, and then go into the darker stuff as we go. I'm not gonna list all the trigger warnings for these, but if you do have a trigger, you'd need to obviously check that out because these ones have a lot, like a full few pages. So before we get started, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the recs. Alrighty, the first one is an OG. This is a complete classic. This is the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas, and if you haven't heard of this, where have you been? I like to call this a great starter into dark romance because it is dark romance, but it's also on the lighter side of things. This is a series of 4 books, 2 novellas, and it follows the 4 horsemen who are Michael, Kai, Damon, and Will. I always confuse their names, but I think that's in the correct order. And it follows them throughout high school. They're the popular guys. They own the school. They always, on Devil's Night, aka Halloween, have a huge party and they wreak havoc upon the town. On Devil's Night, they go all out and something happens. There's a huge plot twist that takes place for all of them, and its consequences lead into the next 4 years. And so we see them in high school, and then we see them 4 years later. They're back into the world, I guess. I'm trying not to give it away, but then we see them hunting down the people that put them in that position, and obviously that leads to their love interests. I did not like that first book at all, like completely. If you have Michael and Rika slander, come my way, but it is necessary to read the series, and I love the series. I truly love this series. So I guess I do recommend the first book because you just need to read this series. It's such a classic. I totally recommend the Devil's Night series for a lighter side of dark romance. I'm looking at my list right now and I'm like, none of these are on the lighter side if you're coming from a contemporary side. So yeah, like I said, I'll create a guide at one point, maybe in my videos in March. So the next one is another series. This is the Mindfck series by St. Abbey. I don't actually know if I could swear on YouTube. I'm fairly new to this shit. Please don't guideline me. But I completely love this series. I'm so glad it's getting the hype that it's getting from social media and book talk. Unfortunately, the author is no longer with us, so yeah, I'm really happy that her books are getting the hype it deserves. So this follows Lana and Logan, and Lana is a serial killer who is killing all the men that have wronged her in her past. There's a horribly horrific event that happened between her and her brother when they were in high school, and her brother didn't make it out, so it is now her mission to kill everyone that messed with them. And Logan is actually a FBI agent, and they bump into each other in a coffee shop and they start dating, and it kind of seems like the picture perfect whirlwind romance. Logan is literally like, she's so perfect, I'm just waiting for something to go wrong, and obviously something goes wrong. He is tracking down a serial killer, working on a serial killer case, which turns out to be her, obviously. And so in the 4th book is when he finds out who she is. They're back in her hometown. Shit is going down. I just really love this series. It is 5 really quick novellas. So the first 3 are about 60 pages and the second 2 are about 120. So if you're in a reading slump, the perfect rec for that. Not tons and tons of steam, but just a really fast-paced plot that you will instantly get captured by. And while the horrific events are obviously very horrific, they don't go into too much detail, so I do classify this on the lighter side of romance, and yeah, it's just a great series, so I really recommend you read it. Also, I want to point out, I'm wearing a shirt, okay? It's just really low cut, and the camera's a little more up, alright? But I'm wearing a shirt. The next one is also a series. I have some standalones coming up, but they're a little more on the darker side compared to the Fallen Men series by Giana Darling, and every single one of these books is just a solid book. This world, everything about these books, just so solid to me. So it follows a MC club actually close to where I live, which was great because I was totally picking up on all the little clues Giana left us about the location. I'm not going to go into too much detail about every book, but just the overall synopsis is it follows an MC club. The first book is about the president's son, and the second book is about the president, and it has so many different tropes. In each book you have friends to lovers, you have an age gap in basically every single one of them, and every single character is just so unique and different in this series. Like I said, it was so solid, none of these books disappoint, and obviously they're an MC club, so it is darker than what you would find in contemporary, but it doesn't go into too much horrific, like, detail, you know? So yeah, the Fallen Men series by Giana Darling, just overall super solid. And then getting just a tidge bit darker, we have Denim Vipers by K.A. Knight, and I actually read this one recently. Even though it's been all over social media for like 2 years since it came out, I never read it until about a week ago. I went into it knowing that it wasn't a lot of plot. It's basically smut. There is not too much plot in this, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. This follows our Vipers. There are 4 of them. You have Ryder, Garrett, Diesel, and Kenzo. And if you ask me a favorite, I could not tell you. I have not made up my mind yet which is a first. So yeah, this follows them and they run the city, and our heroine Roxanne, her dad, owes them a debt and he trades her for his debt. And for some reason, all the fathers in these books seem to be complete assholes. So Roxanne goes to live with them. So it's a forced proximity thing. Obviously, it's reverse harem. You have 4 guys, 1 girl. Roxanne is a really strong heroine. And yeah, they obviously have a relationship from there. I found it really natural how the relationship progressed, especially because she's basically their captive. And yeah, like I said, not too much plot. There is a few things at the end. Diesel, though, is one dark motherfucker. So yeah, there is blood in this, there's murder, there's gore, but it doesn't go into too much detail, except for the scenes with Diesel. So, and next we have another standalone. This is I think, or just Swan Song by Lymari. And if you guys watched my wrap up, you know I fucking loved this. This is another January read. This was so fucking good. So it follows Nico and Ophelia, and Ophelia is in the human trafficking trade, very young, and Nico is one of the buyers and ends up buying her. Deep down, he buys her to give her a better life and to save her, but he does have a traveling circus slash ballet, and she is an insanely trained ballet dancer. Very talented. So you see them in the beginning when she's about 11, when she first comes to live with him, and then you see them fast forward in the future when Ophelia starts to recognize her feelings for him, and he's completely against it. In the end, they obviously fall in love. I loved the plot twist in this one. That ending, though, was a complete mindfuck. It's a happy ending, but it's a mindfuck. So obviously human trafficking, a little darker, but not too much in depth about the gore. Yeah, I love this one. Can you not tell? And now we're gonna get into the darker stuff. So one I read recently, actually just a few days ago, is Sicko by Amo Jones. I'm sorry, I actually read this in September of 2021, but I reread it a few days ago and I love it just as much. So this follows Royce and Jade. Jade is dumped on Royce's family's front step as a kid, and she becomes his foster sister. And they are so cute together in the first bit, can I just say. He's so protective of her and literally won't let her go anywhere without him and his best friends. And they have a really great feeling of family, but something happens, something goes down. And fast forward 4 years when Royce is now in a motorcycle club and completely different, and Jade has gone through stuff that's really traumatic for the past 4 years. It's just awesome. You got a little bit of toxic vibes in this one. Jade is pissed at him for leaving, but he didn't actually want to leave. And there's tons of underlying plot in this one. A little darker, but once again, it's MC. And Royce is a bit of a sicko, hence the name, but they are so cute together, and I really love seeing their story. Can I just say, though, this is the new cover that Amo, quote-unquote, released. I don't believe it's live on Amazon yet to purchase, but she showed us the new cover a few days ago, and I'm in love. I have like 7 of her books already on my shelf. And obviously, I'm going to be getting this one because I don't have Sicko yet. So, and then my last recommendation for you guys is the Cat and Mouse Duet by H.D. Carlton. And this is another darker one, human trafficking once again for the majority of the 3rd book. And I mean the first one too. It's dark romance and it's got some awesome gothic vibes to this. I read it around Halloween and it was perfect. So this follows Zaid and Addie. And Addie is a writer and she inherits her grandma's old haunted house and she goes to fix it up and starts to realize she has a stalker. And so Zaid is our stalker. I remember one part from this where she calls the security team to install security and he's the security. And so yeah, it's a stalker romance. He actually works against human trafficking and is really deep in it and working to take it down in their area, but she gets captured by one of his enemies and put into human trafficking for about 5 months while he's trying to get her back. So it was pretty emotional in the second one. A lot of the focus is on her trauma from that, and he's super gentle with her in that second one. I loved it. It was a great conclusion to the duet. And yeah, I really recommend this one. So that is all for my recommendations for you guys. For now, like I said, I'll hopefully come out with a guide to dark romance soon, but thank you so much for watching. Once again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All my links are in the description, and I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my February wrap-up at the beginning of March. So see you guys then.